Morning.
Hello there.
Thank you. How are you?
See you. Really, really nice to see you and your team. Look at your incredible team. I can see them all sort of like on my banner.
We've got them all.
How's it going, Andy? How are things going?
Yes, we've got 6 of our finest recruits here today. They have all got very different backgrounds and different reasons for joining the job. And we've got Sean and Natasha, who came degree scheme. Queuing waving. They came in February this year. We've got Simran and Ashley, who came in on the degree holder entry programme. They started in March this year with an intake of 91. And then we've got Matt and Chloe, who are they joined December last year, and they're in the last intake before PQF came in. So they're already out doing the tutor phase and operational in divisions. So all at different types of entry routes and different phases. If I could just go to each one, Home Secretary, and ask them to do a short introduction. Sean, would you like to go first?
Hello, Sean.
Don't forget to take your mute off, Sean.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm Sean, I'm 24, and I'm from Wesham, which is West Division in Lancashire. I'm on the apprenticeship course. As Mr. Rose said, I started in February. Before that, I worked in a school and I've served in the military. So I'm really hoping to get into sort of a neighbourhood role within policing.
Thank you, Sean. Natasha?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Natasha. I'm 30 years old. I'm from East Lancashire, born and raised all my life. Got a 14-year-old son, which is fun, especially during lockdown. As Mr. Rhodes said, I'm on the apprenticeship route. Before policing, I was from a completely different area. I was actually a customer services manager for an e-commerce company, so I don't think you could get any different. So looking forward to the challenges and looking forward to getting stuck in.
Thank you, Natasha. Simran?
Thank you.
Simran?
Hello, morning everyone. So as the Chief said, we had hold an programme, law graduate. Following university, I spent 2 years working in a law firm as paralegal. I then worked at the Department for Work and Pensions as a case manager on the benefit PIP. And then, yes, started here in March, really enjoying it. Looking forward to getting out the training and out on the beat.
Thank you, Simran. Ashley?
Morning, everyone. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Poulton-le-Fylde in the West Division of Lancashire. I graduated last July from Lancaster Uni with a law degree, so I'm on the degree DHEP intake. Prior to joining as a regular, I was a special constable for 18 months within the West Division, so again where I'm from. But prior to joining as a regular, I was actually a call advisor for a helpline charity. So yeah, something completely different.
Thank you, Ashley. Matt?
Morning, everyone. I'm 37 years old. I'm from Chorley and I'm working out of Preston Op Centre. I joined via the Dip route last September. So I've just completed my 10-week tutor phase. I've literally been 2 weeks independent, so a big learning curve. Previously, I was a sustainability consultant. I did that for 10 years.
Thank you, Matt. And finally, Chloe.
Good morning.
Morning, Chloe.
I joined with Matt on the same Dip course in September and started out in Blackpool in January. I'm 3 weeks out of my tutor phase, so I'm independent now, absolutely loving it. Completely new to policing, and before this I did retail.
Okay, thanks very much. So just I've been asked to give a bit of background, Home Secretary, about what's happening here around recruitment, etc., and particularly with COVID being on. We're always very fortunate in Lancashire to have a lot of interest. For the intakes that the people on this call came in through, we had over 3,000 applications for 250 places. So, you know, in terms of being able to keep the quality high, we do put a lot of effort into that, and it is very competitive. And so these poor people have had to jump through an enormous amount of hoops to get to be sat in front of you here today. So all credit to them for that. One of the things that we're benefiting from in COVID is that very early we engaged and procured a local provider for the degree entry, UCLan University, which is a big university in Preston. And with COVID being on, they've been able to access lots of resources for us around virtual learning, and they've been very keen to innovate around that. So on the DHEP intake, there's 91 people doing all their training initially through the virtual learning portals that UCLan have got access to with us. Couple of things, we're using the online National Assessment Centre for further intakes this year that the college have got up and running, as you know. And we've also got an investigator degree holder entry programme. This is the first one in the country that we're working with UCLan on. We've done a specific recruitment campaign for an investigator route. We had 1,250 applicants for 75 slots. Essentially, people will come in with a degree and they'll do the same 2-year DHEP. The first year is the same, but the second year is tuned into an investigations route. And at the end of that, you come out with probably into a trainee investigator route. We've done that because there has been a shortage of investigators across the service. So we've gone pre-join to see who's interested in that. We've got a very different profile of people coming in for that route. So that's a bit of stuff about Lancashire. Over to you, Home Secretary.
Brilliant, Chief Constable. That's really, really great. And thank you as ever. I'm going to start by thanking you, Andy, for the work that you've been doing to support the Police Uplift programme. I think you've just shown, actually, with your fantastic recruits, I'm going to have a little chat in a minute, more broadly, just the commitment to actually do more for policing, in policing, and bring on what I would describe all of you as the next generation of our front line, effectively. I'm sure many of you would like Andy's job one day, and you'll all have the ability through training, learning, etc., to have a fantastic career. Policing is just an incredible career, it really is, and the opportunities that will come your way. But obviously through strong leadership and great mentorship as well, and Andy's leadership has been phenomenal across the force. So Andy, many thanks for what you've been doing. And also, the great thing is, of course, is that you've all joined at quite an unprecedented time in British policing. I have to say, I find you all inspiring. Your backgrounds are quite remarkable, all very different. Sean, you've got a great blend of being involved in teaching, having military background, and then of course, Natasha, being a mum, but also juggling a different background. And then Chloe, having done retail, all really different things. And some of you with your degrees as well, bringing a range of core competencies and skills to a role that obviously requires that fusion, a blend of all of that, but actually really good people skills, great empathy skills, the ability to engage with the public as well. So I think you're first of all, you're all going to be fabulous. There's no doubt about that, and I pay tribute and credit to you all for the training that you've undergone, your dedication, but also the fact that you want to serve on the front line. I think that's absolutely brilliant. It really is, and it speaks very much about your own characters and your determination to serve in your community. And I just think that's first class. It really is really first class. So I've got to ask you all, because you've all told me a bit about yourselves and just some of the incredible things that you've done previously. What was the tipping point for you? What made you want to, become a uniformed officer? Who'd like to start? Chloe, why don't you give me an insight? What made you want to do something different?
So I've always been brought up with the police family. My mum's just retired from the police, so I've always had an interest in policing. Always been intrigued to find out more, and I just want to help people really in the community. That's my personality. I just want to look after people, make sure people are safe, and help those that need our help.
And Ashley, did you say that you've had, obviously you've been a special before?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is a natural route. Andy has heard me speak about specials previously, and we know, Andy, specials are a really good way in which to recruit. But you'd helped with helplines before as well in a voluntary capacity, was that correct?
Yeah, so I worked for the Silver Line, which is the only helpline in the UK for older people to combat loneliness. And despite it being completely different to policing, a lot of the things that I actually witnessed on the helpline did kind of put hand in hand with some of the stuff you will be dealing with on the street as a police officer. For example, like suicidal calls, you know, mental health's on the rise at the moment, isn't it? So in that sense, it was quite similar, but obviously it wasn't person to person, face to face based, it was over the phone, which is why I did find it so much different. But as being a special, obviously, you know, you're fully aware of the commitment that we do, and obviously doing it for 18 months, although it's not the longest serving period. It highlighted to me how much, you know, I do want to join as a regular officer. I've wanted to be in the police since I was a little girl. I always blame my gran for making me watch The Bill when I was younger. So yeah, I've always wanted to be in the police. I've always kind of been driven by job satisfaction through helping people rather than anything else, which is why obviously I was working at Helpline prior to joining as a regular.
Thank you, Ashley. I think that speaks volumes. It really does. The ability to help and make a difference to other people.
Yeah.
It's very much, that's intrinsic to policing and the values of policing. Simran, how about you? Because obviously you're a law graduate. You've obviously worked in the legal profession. You've done casework previously, all very people focused.
Yeah, so they're both office-based jobs that I've done before, very different to this. But I think with policing, it was obviously a strong appeal with the helping the community and serving the community, but then also the progression, training, and development opportunities, and also just other opportunities that come along. Like here I am, like 1 month in, I'm in a Zoom meeting with the Home Secretary and the Chief. So the opportunity is really vast and variable. So that was a big thing for me.
Well, that's great, and good luck with everything. Your experience alone, you know, applying that to your day-to-day is going to be quite something. So I've got to ask you, how did you find the recruitment process and the training? Every time I meet new officers, I hear all sorts of things about the training program, the intensity, you know, how demanding it is, and rightly so. Natasha, how did you find recruitment and training?
Hello. The recruitment was quite a quick process. From applying to the first day, it was 6 months, so that was quite quick. It was very difficult. So pleased to be here. In regards to the training program, I'm on the apprenticeship program, so that's obviously been completely renewed. It's different to the old course, so you can tell that a lot of work has gone into building that up. It's great fun. There's a lot to learn. It is hard, but that just makes it all the more rewarding when you get the we do sort of tests and things like that, and you think, oh wow, I actually know this stuff. So 10 weeks in now, what I know now to what I knew on day one, it's just amazing how we're getting the opportunity to learn and to get a degree while working. It's just an amazing opportunity.
Can I ask you, how did you find that transition? Because obviously you've got a different background as well. You're a mum, so life is demanding. Moving career, basically, going through recruitment and then training. That's pretty full on. That's quite intensive as well, when you've got family life around you and, you know, school runs and everything else.
Yeah, it has been a whirlwind. I actually had a chat with my son about it. I said, what do you think about mum being a police officer? Typical teenage boy. He said, oh, I think it's cool. I think you're cool, mum. Great. But we actually looked at the working hours. Now, before this, I did the general 9 to 5, the usual working week, and actually looking at the shift pattern, which I'll be going on to in just over a week's time, I'm going to have more time with him. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. I bet he's beaming with pride. I bet he really, really is, as well as the fact that your job is very cool. So, but I think that's the point, isn't it? Shift pattern just changes. It's very different, your working patterns compared to regular jobs in many, many ways. So, and how about others? Sean, how did you find the training? I mean, if you've been through the military process, you probably had a bit of an advantage, if I may say so, on much of the training. And were there parallels?
Yeah, there was. sort of the army recruitment process is actually very similar. And I've got a lot of experience in that. And I feel very sort of blessed and humbled to actually be able to get a degree, because I never would have had that opportunity in my life on any other path, really, because of my sort of standard of education that I have. So I feel actually very blessed and very humbled to have that opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, that's brilliant, and that's the point about policing. It just opens up so many doors in terms of not just career, but it is that ladder of opportunity. There's no doubt about that in what that can bring to you all. And you've all shown as well that there are several entry routes into policing. You know, doesn't matter what your background is, what your educational qualifications are, and that I think does provide that ladder of opportunity at any age as well. Which is incredibly important. Matthew, how about you? How did you find, you know, getting on the ladder, moving, you know, from a previous career and then sort of getting stuck into something pretty new?
It's quite difficult, to be honest. It's quite a long time since I was at university, probably like 13 years or so since I finished. So going back into education was pretty tough for me, to be honest. I found it really difficult. It was a kind of a change of direction as well in terms of my working life. So I got to a decent level within my career, and then suddenly to go back to the beginning, start again, really tough actually. I found the first few weeks was really difficult, a big change. But the tutors help you out and everyone worked together, and it got a lot easier as the process went forward. So by the end of kind of the 20 weeks, I kind of felt part of the team, I suppose.
Well, that's great, and I think you'll have so much. I mean, you'll know this once you're, you know, you're out and about, you're with fellow officers. It's that level of camaraderie and that teamwork, which is just so crucial, and obviously is really, really embedded in policing. I've got to ask you all, you know, you've joined at quite an unprecedented time. We've got a national health pandemic on. Policing, I'm sure the chief has told you many tales about policing of old and policing now, but policing is evolving, there's no doubt about that, and this isn't just about the support that we give you from government, but this is much more about how policing is adapting to a current national emergency, a national pandemic. And so I guess you're learning new ways of working in policing, new skills, but also doing things very differently. And so can I ask you, what is it like as an officer right now? Because even your shift patterns are changing, the way in which you are policing, thanks to some of the national guidance that your chief no doubt has briefed you all on in terms of the 4 E's around, you know, social distancing and things of that nature. How's some of you finding that? Actually, how's that going?
Sorry,
well, that'd be probably
Andy.
Chloe, or who's out on tutor on Matt and Chloe. Do you want to have a bash at that one? Because you've actually been on patrol, haven't you, with your tutors during this weird and wonderful period. How have you found that, Chloe?
It's quite weird, really, because obviously Blackpool's known for a seaside resort, so it's full of tourists normally around Easter. So, and it's been really, really quiet, which is quite nice because it's slowly breaking me in. I can learn a bit better instead, but then it's a bit like strange because I'm expecting a lot of people to be about and to be talking to a lot more people, but I'm not, because there's no tourists, no hotels open. So it's nice breaking it in slowly so I can start learning properly and then ready for when lockdown's over.
Matthew, how about you?
Yeah, there's a few serious issues, I suppose, with the COVID-19. Obviously, there's the separation of ourselves. I mean, the separation between the officers, as well as the separation between ourselves and the public. And it's quite difficult because, especially in the tutor phase, you can't separate from your tutor. So you've got to kind of protect yourself and your tutor and your tutor's family, I suppose, from potential infection or similar. But then there's also the issue with dealing with the public, and you can't, as a police officer, really not interact with them, especially if you're having to make an arrest and you're having to get hands-on. You are literally face-to-face. So you protect yourself the best you can. We've got the PPE there. It's not that easy, but it's part of the job. They say it's a job like no other, and that's how it is.
And how are you finding that hands-on aspect in particular, you know, sort of the engagement point? Have you, I'm going to ask the question anyway, have you been involved in sort of administering any of the fixed penalty notices, being involved in any arrests or things of that nature? You know, if so, what was it like, you know, to do your first one, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think one of the things about Lancs is we have our computer device. We have like a mobile, it's like a mobile phone. So we already have the facility to provide them the fixed penalty notices digitally, which is, you know, pretty impressive because it was quite fast. The way they've done it was quite good. Obviously, we are trying to educate people first rather than just giving out the tickets. So that's our approach at the moment. Repeat offenders, of course, they are getting tickets. But yeah, no, it's been pretty smooth, pretty seamless, to be honest.
How about you? Have you been involved in an arrest yet at all?
I haven't during COVID, no, but I have given a ticket, which was pretty smooth, as like Matt said, it's on the device. I knew the mail's address and everything, so it gets sent straight to them. So there's no face-on-face really handing it out to them, so it went quite smoothly.
Well, that's great and well done. Funny enough, I was in a conversation with your chief just at the beginning of the week about some of the criminality that we're seeing because of COVID, the fact that criminals are slightly more visible right now because while everyone else is in lockdown, and the great work that the force is doing in arresting those that quite frankly are still perpetrating a lot of harms across society and harms to other people too. I've got a couple more questions, if you can bear with me a little bit. And I think, Andy, you might want to kick off on this one, primarily because I want to just ask about health and well-being. See, Andy, you've done some fantastic work nationwide and nationally on health and well-being of our officers. And I'm really keen to hear from you all as, you know, new recruits, new joiners, new practitioners as you're getting started. What do you think, you know, what's your sense in terms of how you're safe, you know, you can be better protected and also get the balance right in terms of improving, you know, your work, your ability to do your job, whether it's technology, more protection, you know, more security even for your family, so to speak, knowing that, you know, you've got a force that is there looking out for you and will look after your health and well-being. Andy, do you want to start a bit on that?
Well, I think the first thing for us was getting the basics right around PPE, hand sanitizer, because at the initial outbreak of the pandemic, this was obviously what was concerning people. And you know, the supply chains, you know, it's been challenging, but I think we've pulled that off. I'd be interested in hearing from people also about the staff engagement side of things, because you know, we have tried to get messages out to people to reassure them and put a help desk in for people who may have people who are shielded at home, who want specific things catering for themselves at work, you know, social distancing measures at work. So I think, you know, I throw it open to the group about this. We do our best to try to prioritise well-being here, but the true test is what these folks say, isn't it? So. Over to them, really. Anybody?
Okay, who's going to start first? Sean, do you want to comment?
I think it's been actually really good. If I draw sort of comparison to my previous jobs, sort of the emphasis on well-being, sort of protection, and that as a priority, there's a drastic difference compared to when I was in a school or the army. And it's fantastic. We get weekly updates from the Chief Constable about what is going on, how they're doing, what they're doing in order to help protect us. All the PPEs there, all the line managers have been trained in sort of mental health, where we can go and freely discuss with them. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I was actually shocked about what's actually in place to help us through it. So again, I was quite sort of shocked and quite happy with it.
That's great. I mean, health and well-being is absolutely crucial. let's be frank, you all see through what you do day in, day out, some really appalling things. And that well-being component is really, really important in addition to that sort of health and safety side as well. Natasha, how about you? How have you found it?
It's been really good. Already just 10 weeks in, there's so much support, and by that in different aspects of it. So with the training, all the trainers are so supportive. If we've done a lesson and they've thought maybe I didn't understand it, they come back to me separately, make sure it's all going in. And then with other aspects of it, like mental health, I've got a phone book full of contacts of people who I know I could go to if I needed any support already. It's just fantastic. It really is.
Really good to hear. That's really good to hear. Simran, how about you?
Yeah, I thought it's all been handled very well. I don't think my training's been diminished at all by the social distance or anything. I think the trainers who've actually had have been supportive, been offering the support like 24/7. When there has been occasions where we've needed to go into the headquarters, I think provisions have been made. I think for the first aid training, I think all vulnerable people were given a separate session to go to, so really just safeguarding them. And obviously changing jobs during the period of COVID, so making that transition, then I got to see what it was like at DWP as well. And then again, like very important role, key staff, and again there was like social distancing. Anyone, parents who had vulnerable children or children off school, they were allowing them a bit more time to take off and then possibly come back into work when they thought that they would have to be safe. So I think it's all been handled very well.
That's really good. I've got one final question before I'm going to let you get back to doing business, and Andy, let you get back to running your force as well. Which is, what message would you have as new recruits? What would your message be to anyone, someone? If you were doing the TV ad right now for our recruitment campaign, what would you say? As to why you should join the police force.
Should we go one at a time and give everybody? So who are we going to pick first then? Right, Chloe, you go first. Go on.
I'd say don't be scared to look into it and apply if it's something you really want to do, because I definitely think now I've got the best job in the world. So yeah, just to make that jump and do it.
That's brilliant, Chloe. I think you have the best job in the world.
Sean?
Mine would be to people of sort of similar background that have left the army. I left the army without a level 3, with very limited qualifications. I worked hard to get that level 3, and now I'm here where I am. There's a lot of sort of being negativity from people from my background in regards to joining this degree thing, and there's no need for it. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'm sort of sailing through it. So don't let it put you off.
Simran?
I think if there is any person who wants to join or thinking about joining, I think just ask people, do a lot of research about it. I spoke to police officers and they've always been so helpful in giving me like a real candid overview of what it's like. And also, since being in training, you just hear about so many opportunities. So I think it's really a good career for anyone, really.
Ashley?
Yeah, just reiterating what my colleagues have said, for someone that's wanted to be in the police since they're a little girl, I also believe now that, especially in a time where we've got a pandemic, it's more important than ever to do a role like this. But also, if you're not 100% sure, there's always the specials route. Try and test it first, and then you can you're still giving something to the community by doing that, and then by being special, you understand whether it's definitely something you want to do as a career or something that you just want to do part-time to give back to the community, which will help confirm that.
Matt, what about you?
I'd say it's a hard job, but it's probably one of the most rewarding jobs that you can do. So yeah, definitely go for it. Just give it a go. Everyone supports you as well within the team. So yeah, just go for it.
Okay, and Natasha, what about you?
Hi. I would just say to anyone that thinks that maybe it's not the role for them because they've got children, not to let that put you off. It is a fantastic job. And again, anyone that doesn't have a degree, have a look into the apprenticeship route, because it's an amazing opportunity to be able to obtain a degree while working at the same time. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. And just to conclude, I want to just thank you all, not just for your time today, but being so inspiring. I think all your stories are really quite inspirational. They really are. You've got some great personal stories. You've got an amazing set of skills as well, which your communities that you're going to be serving in will absolutely benefit from. They really will. Andy's got a great team. I think his team has become even greater since you've all, joined, been recruited, or be in the front line. You've got so much to look forward to in your policing career, and it is a policing career, so don't lose sight of that. Sean, as you've just said, amazing opportunities. They'll come to all of you, they really will. But you're going to be doing something that I think is just so important, not just throughout COVID, but more generally through policing as well. You're going to be a part of your community. You'll be making a difference to people's lives, and you'll be helping and serving in your community. And that is a great, great thing. It really is. So Chloe, it speaks to your point that you've got the best job in the world, really. So I wish you all every success. I really do. Thank you for what you've been doing, and thank you for what you're going to be doing as well for serving your community and your country so well. So good luck to you all. You should be proud of yourselves, all of you. You really, really should be. And I wish you all the very best. So good luck. Thank you. And Andy, thank you for the opportunity today as well.
Okay, thank you.
With your brilliant team, your team gets better and better, really, stronger and stronger.
Great, aren't they? Yeah.
They're really, really good, really, really great. So thank you all. It's great to see you, and good luck.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Home Secretary.
Thanks, Andy. Okay.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye.